This episode of That Mental Ginger Show is sponsored by Roots and Rays Photography. In the entertainment business, having a good headshot is crucial to landing a gig. You don't have a good headshot, you ain't going to get work, which is why I highly recommend Roots and Rays Photography. Roots and Rays made me feel really at ease. We got some great headshots and somehow managed to turn this 35-year-old piece of dog meat into a work of art. For more information, visit www.rootsandrays, all one word, .co.uk or drop them an email at rootsandraysphotography, all one word, at gmail.com. Who knows, if you tell them Andrew sent you, they might do you a wee deal. And once again, thank you to Roots and Rays Photography, not just for doing my headshots, but for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. On today's episode of That Mental Ginger Show, we are talking to Canadian musician Jonny Starkes. Jonny was like one of the soundest, coolest guys that you could meet. I mean, think of the dude from Big Lebowski, and that's the kind of cool that this guy is emanating. Let's just dive into the episode, and you'll feel as chill as I did. Oh, and he's also doing a song at the end, so make sure you stick around.
All right, troops.
Jonny, a pleasure to have you on the show, my man. How are you getting on?
Good, my friend. 1 second here. We're off to the races. I'm all right, buddy. How
Yeah.
you doing yourself?
I'm not too bad, my friend. Like, all the better for seeing you, man. What I mean, you got to say, like, you got the proper, like, you've got like the rugged look that like every guy in Scotland wishes they had back in like the like in like the porridge adverts, and just been like that. It's like, I mean, my muscles are basically like notched and like a fly's penis. Like yours is just like proper.
We're good.
But, yeah. That's what that working life does for you, my friend. And that's probably a good segue to getting at my first question, which is to ask you about your origin story. Because one thing we all have in common is that we all have an origins. So, Jonny, for my faithful followers, please tell us your origin story.
Well, I started out between my dads and okay. I grew up by the ocean over here in Canada. Grew up in a place called Hare Bay, which is Newfoundland. So across the pond from everybody.
So you're essentially the Canadian Aquaman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice one. Right. Well, it's pretty true. I mean, like, you've got the physique of Jason Momoa. I mean, obviously, I'm married with kids, but I can accept you're a pretty damn hot guy. So is Jason Momoa. So there we go. Like, there we go. Like the next Aquaman film. That's it. We're coming to Canada.
Yeah, I think he's done a few films in Newfoundland actually, but
there we go. What? You could be stunt double.
Maybe, yeah. I'll do all the hard parts.
Yeah. Anyway, I interrupted. Carry on, my friend.
Yeah, I grew up in Newfoundland majority of my childhood, but wasn't much work back there, so my mother and father would always move to Toronto for work. So I spent a lot of my life bouncing back and forth, like a town of 800 people to like a city of like thousands. So
wow.
And then eventually along the way, in grade 9, we decided to stay here, and I'm living in Toronto now. But you can't take the boy from the ocean, but not the salt out of the boy.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's one of the things that they always say. Like, you can take like the person out of like wherever they grew up, but you can't take that out of the bag. And it always good. It keeps you humble, keeps you grounded. So what got you into music?
Music, it's funny. I've always enjoyed it, but I think a lot of times growing up, you're like, oh, people are gonna think that's sissy. And so my parents are always pretty active, and never did really take it upon myself to start playing guitar. But when I was younger, my uncle showed me a few chords when I was really young, and I kind of played around with them over and over. Yeah. I got to high school, and I was like 16, 17. I asked my parents to buy me a guitar, and they did. I played around here and there, and then I've always had a knack for words. I've always enjoyed playing with words. So I tried a few times to write some songs, and it's funny because I started writing my own songs because I tried to play other people's shit. And I'm like, fuck, man, I can't figure it out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna write my own fucking shit, and then we're good.
Good plan, man.
Yeah. So in like my early 20s, I started having a few soda pops and going to the
Yeah,
bars and doing karaoke. And like I said, I've always enjoyed singing, like behind the scenes, by yourself.
yeah.
So I started doing the karaoke more and more, and getting drunk and getting that
Mm,
courage. And then I've always hated the job I have, and I was like, you know what? And one day I sat down and I wrote a song, and I'm like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. After I got
mm,
all the bumps out of the way and built up that courage at the karaoke, and
mm.
it wasn't easy, like you said. Until this day, you still get nervous as shit, right?
Yeah.
Hit
Well, that
that
just
stage.
shows you that it just shows you that you care about it, man. Like
Yeah,
that's like the nerves are our part and parcel, like the crazy world that we live in, with this type of stuff. It's like even me just going up our karaoke song, I'm like having to run to the toilet just to make sure nothing falls out halfway through a song. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
I can totally understand that. But I mean, in fairness, like the stuff that I've heard, like your music, it is really good, man. Like you've got such an amazing voice. Like it's that kind of I always equated like the kind of the 90s, like kind of acoustic like singers that used to kick about, like that kind of yeah, that kind of
From
voice that everybody loves.
the
Obviously,
Jeremy's spoken,
yeah,
right?
like it seems a me, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. But
no, it's
yours is better, obviously. Like mine's just a shit impersonation, but you know what I mean.
I'll take it.
It's, yeah,
I'll
it's a
take what I
compliment,
can get.
definitely a compliment, man.
But
Like, I
I was
mean,
born in
seriously,
'86, so the '90s were kind of was
hey, you're
by the end
one
of the
year older
'90s. I
than me.
was
I'm 87.
14. Okay, nice.
Mm.
I threw away the mold after '88.
Yeah, that was it. They made us, and they just went, "We're done."
Yeah.
Definitely, man. But so you've definitely one thing I will say, like with the type of voice you've got and the look you've got to come over to Scotland, man. Like the women will be around you like flies round shit. It will be
Hey.
absolute. You will be swarming in Clunge, definitely. Well, you've
We'll
got that
see. I
stick.
think I think those days are behind me.
Yeah. Well, what we'll see. We'll see about that one, man. Like I say, if you do ever come to Scotland, if you've got the chance, like feel free, crash over
I'd like
here.
to, man. It's kind of why I'm pushing like I'm pushing. Like I said, I swing
Mhm.
a hammer every day, and since I've been 19, I've been breaking my body, working my ass off to.
Mhm.
My parents like they gave me stuff like the bare minimum of like they gave me love and I did the best
Mhm.
they could, but everything I've ever done in my life, I've taken upon myself to
Yeah.
push through and get where I am, and hopefully my music's gonna take me around the world one day.
Mm. Well, you can always crash here, and then I'll light up the beacons for every single female that just come and like fly around.
Ah,
They'll be all over you, man.
well,
But
it's funny. My followers, if you go to my Spotify thing, I think it's like,
mm,
here's check right now. Let's see,
well, there we go. Like,
because the ladies like, you just do it for the ladies. I'm like, I think I was doing just fine before I picked up a
mm.
guitar.
You're just like it's a perk. Well, but I just love the music, man. Just love it.
Thank you. 57% male followers. Bam.
Wow, there we go. Hey, it's a
It's all
very
good as long as they want to support the music. That's what means the
yeah,
most to me. Is
exactly, man.
it's all from the heart and from the world around me and what I go through as a person. And a lot of people think it's about the rock and the roll. Like no, it's
Mm,
about getting on stage and finally having control over something in your life. It's only you and that guitar. Everyone's gonna notice when you mess up.
mm.
You're
Well,
in the
that's fair.
moment.
Yeah, but it's also one of the things as well that what you say it's you and the guitar, like, and what you draw everybody in with how good you are with this with the kind of sound that you've got. Like you've got one of those kind of styles that even if it was like the busiest room in the world, if you started playing and singing, they would shut up and just pay attention instantly.
I know, but over
What?
here in Toronto,
Yeah, definitely. If you came to Glasgow, what? Yeah, that would work. You would be working it, man.
I gotta get the fuck out of here, don't I?
Hey, in
Huh?
fairness, why don't we do a house swap? What my dream is to retire in Canada. Why don't we do a swap? Well, you just come over to Scotland, I'll go over to Toronto.
Yeah. Come on
That's
over, brother.
sounds like a good plan. What you could just have like this weird random ginger Scotsman just kicking about and there what and you'll just be like,
I'll let my
yeah,
landlord know. It's
yeah.
okay. He's good shit. He's here with me. Well, where are you? Scotland.
Yep. I know the best part is like everybody just assumes like with it's Scotsmen like they're all violent and dangerous and psychos and what. And if I turned up, I would totally break the stereotype. So I just have to lie and go to fucking right, mate.
Yeah.
All right.
Tell
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Fucking want one?
What? Oh man. Let's hear your best Scottish accent then. Let's go for it.
Mine.
Yeah, why not, man?
Oh,
What?
let's go for it. That's
Tell
how
you
you
what.
laddie.
Tell you what. Better than Mel Gibson's Braveheart. I can guarantee that.
Well, it's like the new fee. Stay where you're at. I'll come where you're too.
Mm. I know it's quite funny when you get those type when you hear someone trying the different accents. Like I tried the Canadian one, you just it's like you go to the kind of the mountains, you're going to go around and gonna get my horse,
Right.
Well, and everybody's just like that's not how we speak. I'm like, yeah, I know, but that's just a general stereotype. It's like everybody
My
thinks that.
interpretation.
Yeah, it's like everybody thinks that Scots people like still live in huts like groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons.
Oh, I get. Trust me. I get
Yeah.
some weird shit too. Like, oh, you're from Newfoundland. When'd you come to Canada? I was like, really? Like,
Mhm.
fucking serious? It's okay. Some people need to be educated on some things, but
That's true. That's one of the reasons that I do this to learn and educate what the world about everybody that I meet. And in fairness, you get quite an education when you do the rounds. What as I'm sure you have when you're doing like your gigs as well. What type of how have your fan base reacted when you've been out there? What's the kind of craziest stories you can give me?
crazy stories. I don't want to get too into detail here, but
Mm.
pretty much, man. Just I've had some crazy times after some little crazy parties with some crowd up in Markham, Ontario after some shows, and
Nice.
it gets fun. The hard thing after playing a show is coming down, right?
Oh, definitely. That
No matter if
adrenaline
there's
rush
two
is
people in
just
front of you or like
yeah.
I think the biggest crowd I ever played in front of like a few hundred people.
Nice.
But
Very
like you
good.
get home, I remember the girlfriend's like, "Okay, let's go to bed," and I'm like, "Go to bed?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"I'm just getting started. What do you mean?"
Yeah.
So
How what do
the
you find is like the
craziest.
best way for you? Like, see when you're in that adrenaline kind of high, like when you come back and you know you're like man, it's been a late gig. You know you're up early the next day for work. How do you find is the best way to kind of calm those the adrenaline down?
Some good old marijuana.
Mm.
But even
If
then,
only we
it's
could get that over here. What?
yeah,
Yeah.
we got it all over here, brother.
Yep. And that's another
But
reason why I'm coming over to Canada.
I'll roll you a nice one.
Definitely.
But no,
That's
it's coming down to. It depends, man. Sometimes you got to realize too. If I'm on stage for like 45 minutes, I'm playing 13 songs. Each of those songs has like their particular niche where could be the happiest moment of my life. It could be the saddest. It could be a song about my dad dying to
mm,
love gain, love loss, and by the end of it, you're on stage and like you're reliving like every one of those songs for those 3 minutes. Like you're putting
yeah.
yourself back in there. So when you get off stage, everything's just so you gotta try to pull your back. I'm still kind of. I think it's a work in progress.
Mm,
Trying to. I didn't even notice at first. You're just like, yeah, this is sick. This is awesome. And then like
mm,
later on, you just get the career kind of grows. You're kind of like, okay, these are things that you probably need to start working on, getting a handle on that. If you ever go on tour, it's like boom, one night show on the road, next show. So you got to start bringing
mm.
that down and just keeping that focus. But at the same time, it's fun to tear it up too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. How long is what's like the longest that your tours lasted?
I've never been on tour yet,
Oh, whoa,
so
man,
that's what.
you're definitely going to be out on tour. Like I can see that in your future, my friend. Like definitely.
Well,
It's like I always like to sometimes if I have guests on, I always like to play what I call the bastard love child. And the example of that is that people tell me that I look like the Scottish comedian Frankie Boyle had a bastard love child with Chris Evans, who's a ginger presenter over here.
yeah.
So for you, I would say that you are the bastard love child of Jason Momoa and Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. And they're two really good looking guys, man. So take
I'll
that
take
stump, man.
them.
Definitely, man. So
I'll
I would
take
say,
it
you've
and their
got
money.
definitely. I mean, he did 15 seasons of Supernatural. What Jason Momoa is the Aquaman, as we've discussed.
Trying to think. Supernatural. What show is that?
What what Sam and Dean, what in a nice 70s Apollo kicking ass and hunting demons. What
Super.
if you know the show The Boys that's on the now?
Yeah,
What
I
so the guy
stopped watching that.
yeah
Like, oh
so
man.
yeah so the guy that plays Soldier Boy, Like he was in Supernatural with the guy that I'm talking about.
Okay, I was laughing at
Like,
that scene in one of the episodes where he's like, "I'm a bad boy." He's just stood there with all
yeah,
like the '80s background.
yes. It's
Well,
just
I've watched
amazing.
it like when the first season one like a few times. Like I don't really
Mm,
watch much TV, but then season three came out, and like that
yeah,
opening scene, I'm like, holy fuck.
yeah, definitely. Like I won't reveal too many spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen it, but yeah,
Yeah.
we know the scene. We know the scene.
Well, it's I like the fact there's no boundaries on it. It's
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not the type of person like I know there should be boundaries, but at the same time, there's a lot of too many boundaries out there right now. You gotta
Mm,
tiptoe in everything you do, or they'll take
yeah.
everything you have.
Yeah.
So
It's
the
one of
show is nice
those.
to watch and just be like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah. It's one of the things, why the reasons that when everybody says to me, like, when they're on the show with me, they're like, oh, you can edit that out, right? And I'm like, I don't edit because life is not edited. Like
Yeah.
that's the way I live my life. I'll live and die on that sword. What that's the way I think it, man. Like I'm not a what I don't like to think I'm a bad person, but then again, I'm sure Homelander doesn't think he's a bad person.
Yeah.
But it's
Well,
one of those what
how you
once you
supposed
just
to
think
how you supposed to grow? How you supposed to run if you don't trip?
exactly, you've got to forever grow and forever change and learn. What and that's the whole point. That's why people watch TV, like for character development. What and that's a symbolization of life. You've got to always develop. Well, and it's something I don't think anybody realizes, like that isn't in like the arts, that we generally don't have time to sit down and watch TV, do we? Because we're so busy, like trying to create things and like
Well,
inspire and like and get ourselves
we
going.
you get so wrapped up, Like last night, I bought this new guitar pedal, and I'm like, I
Mm,
set everything up. I'm like, tonight's the night. Then all
yeah,
of a sudden, I'm just fucking lost on YouTube and dicking around some
yeah,
other stuff. And I'm like, wake up this morning. I'm like, hey, doing pedal. See you tonight. Tonight I
yeah.
got the podcast. I got some laundry to do. Got to hit
Mm,
the bank and might go fire back some little pint before
good plan.
last day of work. So
What and then be like, hey, pedal, what's up?
yeah, the big
What?
sky.
Yeah,
She's a beauty.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what is the plans going forward for you, my friend? Like with the music. Like so, first of all, what gigs have you got coming up? What for everybody on your side of the pond? Sell it, my friend.
Oh, this we got a big one coming up July 31st. So I live in Scarborough. So Scarborough Rib Fest is July 31st, Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And if you do know me, Scarborough Thompson Park is a little place called Area D. So
Mm.
that was the high school days, and you'd pick up a 6 pack and split it with your buddy and drink, and then be home by 11, hide in your room in case your mom didn't smell it. But spent a lot of time growing up in that park, and I'd always, even before I was writing music, I'd always be at the Rib Fest, and I'd be like, I'm gonna fucking play that stage one day. And then over the years, I went there, and he's like, "Well, you don't have any music out yet. I can't put you on stage." And then
Mm,
finally, Wanda got in touch with him,
mm,
and Wanda's my agent. And just before COVID, they agreed to have me play. So when
mhm,
COVID came, like everyone, screwed all the
mhm.
plans up. But
Yep.
now this year, brother, she's going down.
Hey,
I'm
that's what.
excited. This is going to be the biggest. I think like the biggest show that means a lot to me. So
Yeah, it's always good when it's a personal thing as well. Like you give it that bit extra. I think. What and the fact that you've had to wait for 2 years basically, what to get on and go for it. Like,
well,
you're
I
gonna.
don't mind. Is like I think I've grown a lot in the 2 years. So I'm like
Yeah.
the type of person. If it doesn't work out, it even makes me more hungry. At least when it
Mm,
does work out, you're more prepared. You've grown more. I
mm,
look back at it now and I'm like, I think I would have done a good job, but compared to like the show I will put on this time will be two different people.
yeah. Definitely. Like everybody's had that kind of opportunity to grow and change over the last couple of years, and what what have every confidence you're going to knock it out the park, man. Like you're
I
just
hope so.
you're ridiculously talented, and we need to get some more exposure for you over my side of the pond. So tell my followers, where can we find you? Give the socials, sell
You can find me in this basement.
it.
You can find me anywhere from
That just
depends what
sounds like the
plat.
start of a Netflix documentary. You can find me in this basement.
Trying to get the fuck out of here sometimes, but it gets pretty dungeony down here. But Yeah. So Jonny Starkes Music. You can find me on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. Like I said, Spotify is cool, but a million plays gets me $1,000. So if you like what I do, I'd really appreciate hitting up iTunes and whatnot.
Mm.
From there, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Jonny Starkes Music. I've got a collection of videos that I put out with my music as I release it.
Mhm.
A lot of people are like, dude, man, you're wasting all the money on videos. I'm like, if you're going to do it, it's a package, you know? It's something you get to
Yeah,
look back on. And I think releasing a song with no video and the follow up is kind of just throwing it away. But
yeah. Well, and it's all part of the experience, man. It's something that you can look back on and go, I did that. Well, I created that. There's a video to go with it as well. The videos always have a meaning behind them. What unless
yeah,
you're what?
well, they're
So
all my
there's
vision too. But
yeah,
I don't know, it gets a little weird, man. Like I've done it like well, the last song I put out in April. My old Taekwondo coach, he's an illustrator for comics and stuff. So
nice.
I'm like, you know what? I'm like, so I gave him some ideas, and he came back
Yeah,
with this amazing like music video. Of, like, just I'll send it. I'll send you the link after we're done. But if you're
definitely,
listening, go check out my new single, "Nobody Holds a Candle to You," and the
definitely.
sexy video.
Well, all the links will be in the description below this video. Go subscribe, check them out. Listen to all this stuff. Go on Spotify, go on the iTunes. I normally wouldn't encourage giving any money to Apple, but he needs the money. We got to get him famous, man. We got to get you famous.
Yeah, well, like you said, mainly I just want people to enjoy the music. Like
Yeah,
money comes, money goes, but other than that, it's
yeah. The passion's always there, man.
yeah,
It'll
just
always be there.
coming in my world for a little bit, and you might like it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely, Lean. Well, obviously, at the end of this interview, we will have a sneak peek of one of your amazing songs, "Insane Love," which, spoiler alert, obviously, I've already listened to it. Well, just letting some of the magic in there. And I have to say, it's
spoiler alert.
spoiler alerts. We're all about the spoiler alerts here, as well as the tangents. And spoiler alert, the song is fucking amazing, man. It's absolutely beautiful. Honestly, it's so great. So what was the inspiration behind it? Talk me through the process.
Insane Love is
Yeah.
fun. That's actually one of the first songs I ever wrote, and like I considered it like a full song, and the song pretty much just depicts like like cat and mouse. You know, it's a lot of people when they like each other, they
Mm,
kind of hide and they're shy. Like he doesn't want me, or she doesn't want me, or are they good enough for me, or that kind of
mm,
stuff. And then it was funny with that song. The song's got a lot of history behind it, but
mm.
that song's went on to be played at my buddy's first dance, and
Nice.
it's grown to be something bigger than I always thought it would be. I'll tell you that
Mm,
much. But every time I play it, it brings me back to that moment of writing it, and
mm.
I think it's just a good old fashioned love song that kind of depicts two stories, bring them together, and don't waste your time, people. If you love someone, you gotta let them know.
Exactly. And if you do let them know, you could end up like me.
you
Don't end up like me.
got it going on. What
Like,
have I done?
end up like Johnny. End up like Johnny.
Well, it's
What the
funny. First song I ever listened to. Here we
mm,
go.
oh.
Billy Ray song. He had this song, uh, "Dreams Move On."
Mm,
He's like, "It took me now, Oh, it should have been me." I think the song's
mm,
name. He talks about his buddy getting married to this girl. Here I am, like a kid, just sitting on the corner
yeah.
of the fucking bed. Like he's like, you're standing at the altar, like taking the diamond out of his pocket, and he's handing his buddy this ring that he's gonna marry the girl that he wants.
Mm,
I just remember on the bed, like as a kid, being like, "Holy fuck!" I'm like, I think I was like tearing up. I'm like, and it's like it's powerful shit. So
yeah.
I think Insane Love. I think that
Mm,
matches up with
yeah.
some of the top notch songs with it all.
I would definitely say so. From hearing it, it does have a bit of a Billy Ray vibe. What I could definitely kind of hear the influences. But what would you say was kind
Well,
of
he's not really
your
influencing me, but I just say
no,
back then the mullet.
yeah, but it's
I'm
there.
like,
It's there, man. Also you got better hairstyle than the mullet. Come on.
yeah. When I get
What
the
was
haircut, I'm getting the mullet. I don't know
uh,
when, but when I cut it, we're
yeah.
getting the Business up front and party in the back.
Yeah. In fairness, like your hair is pretty awesome, man. Well, it's pretty cool. Well,
Everyone
it's
should
what
grow their hair.
definitely, man. Well, I mean, mine it doesn't like kind of grow down the way it kind of grows like that. Like, so I just look like this really weird reject from a Beatles band.
No, it'll
Well,
start coming down, man.
yeah,
You gotta train that puppy.
yeah. Well,
You
just get my wife's iron and just be like, shh, shh, stay.
right?
So, what would you say were your kind of musical inspirations when you were growing up? What would you say was the kind of ones that you went right? This is what's making me want to write music.
I kind of like to me like as long as music's done right, like as long as it's done right, it's done right no matter what genre, what they're doing. But I think the biggest thing about a song is taking someone somewhere,
Hmm.
taking a piece of you and taking them along for the ride. And hold on, I was gonna say the spider crawling across the floor.
Whoa! Right, how big's the spider?
I don't know, size of a quarter. You're lucky this time, pal. But I'll get you as soon as I'm
Uh,
done this shit.
yeah.
But
Well,
inspirations, Kings of Leon became my biggest, like probably my early 20s kind of.
mm,
I just heard this man sing, and like I said, the karaoke, I was singing all the time, and I
mm-hmm.
took like 4 or 5 beers and 2 shots and 2 puffs of a joint. I had this shit down like chemistry. Okay, two
Yeah.
beers, 1 shot of whiskey, and 2 pulls of a joint before I get on stage.
Yeah.
But
It's
he
kind of like
showed
how.
me, pardon?
No, carry on, my friend. Like you're the
Yeah, like he
guest. Like, I need
showed
to hear
me
about
to
you.
sing with. He showed me how to sing with conviction and like not to be afraid what people think about what you have to say. And
Mm,
I just saw the beauty in his voice and his words and the phrasing of his words. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm like, I'm gonna get out there and God gives you a gift, and that gift is meant to be given.
exactly, my friend. And it's quite interesting, like how you say, like you had the kind of chemistry of like you'd have like your 2 beers, you'd have your couple of shots. Well, I always noticed that over in Scotland when they have it, and it's for if you're playing pool. Well, they always, what me and my friends we'd hit that kind of sweet spot where we'd be like, right,
Mm-hmm.
we're untouchable when we're playing pool, and if you literally went one sip over that spot, that was you were gone. What you would be on an instant losing streak and you would suck. What? But it took us ages to try to figure out where that line was. By the time we figured it out, we didn't want to play pool anymore because we're like, well, where's the fun in that?
Do you know where that line is?
Yeah, it's like we.
Playing sober. That's the
Yeah.
years I came. The more I started having these drinks, you think you're good on stage because you're getting
Mm-hmm.
through it. You think you're getting through the pool game because when you're sober, you got to suffer and you got to really make sure you're doing everything. But you get a little buzz on, like fuck it, I was drunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I always remember like I used to be say like, I would never be confident like going up and singing without like without a drink in me. And I just remember once going up and singing a song, and I butchered it, and it was horrible. And I was like, and everybody, it was at a local, it was at a bar that I drank at a lot. Had quite a lot of respect there, and I felt I need to get my respect back. So I deliberately went in, didn't drink, knew karaoke was going. I was like, right, get this song on, blasted it, and they were like, how did you do that? How could you sing so good? And I was like, I could always sing good. Like you just heard me when I was drunk, and from then on,
Yeah.
like, and then from then on, I never drank when I was doing karaoke or anything like that. I was like, no, I'm not going through that experience again. What wasn't that respect? It was like the Michael Jordan of karaoke, and it took it personal.
Yeah, no, it's funny, like a lot of
Yeah,
people mask things with alcohol and like it's an excuse,
yeah,
but there's no greater thing than a sober mind, fully focused and delivering.
no, definitely, man.
How you gonna critique yourself? How you gonna critique yourself? Then it's just a blur.
yeah. If you can't remember it, how can you critique it?
Yeah, I think I messed up. I'm not sure, but that's all right. We'll try again next week.
But did it actually happen? I don't know. I can't say.
Just don't pick up any
Yeah,
phone calls for 4 days straight.
yeah. I
Where
just
are you,
make sure.
Johnny? Fuck off. Leave me alone.
But oh, so if you recovered, the second they say
Uh,
that, you know you're in trouble. When they say, "Oh, have you recovered?"
yeah.
Uh, so we are starting to come up on time. Sadly, damn you, Zoom. Why are you my producer now?
Suck
What?
at Zoom.
Yeah, it's what it's easy. Well, you know yourself. Any way that you can find a freebie, you take it and you run with it.
Yeah. Well, I did a whole, tell you quickly, I did a song competition here in Canada called Sing for the Shot. And we did a whole season over Zoom calls. So, like 20
Nice.
contestants, and every day you'd show up. And for instance, one thing was a fortune cookie. You open it, And whatever the fortune cookie said, we got put in our groups. And we had 6 hours to write a song and then play it for the judges. And we'd always get this timeout thing with Zoom. Quite
Yeah.
the deal.
Yeah. That's crazy. That type of like in that type of contest and stuff like.
It was
So
pressure.
yeah, you could
I got
certainly.
second, but
Oh, nice.
yeah, it
What?
was, I never thought I was gonna get that far. But it was something
Let's.
really to really didn't dive into it. I just went head first, and it was quite the experience to get that far and to keep getting
Yeah.
through every week and give myself a little pat on the back, being like, "See, buddy,
Definitely, man.
we
Like,
can
because
do this."
that sounds really cool. What what contact some of the reality TV show guys over there with the concept. I'm betting they would jump on that. What,
Well,
and
they
then you can
were
just
going to. I think Netflix was supposed to pick it up, but then
wow.
some shit happened, and the COVID, and then like, but
Sounds
they
about
just
right.
finished season 2 now, actually, or not season 3.
Yeah.
USA versus Canada.
One of the Canadians.
America.
One of the Canadians. I'm okay with the Canadians. I like Americans too, but yeah, I've got family in Canada. I
They're
got
all
back then.
good.
I
They're
got
all
back then.
good if they're not assholes.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Waste the last time I
Yeah.
checked. So since we are coming up in time, I'll round off with the last question I ask all my guests. If you could give one piece of advice to anyone that's struggling with mental health issues at this point in time, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Don't give up. No, it's such a cliche. Um, I just hold on. Just know that there's tomorrow. I went through a lot of shit, man, the last 6 years, and like even recently, I just went through a big spell about 2 months of like not wanting to face myself, and I think it starts with the small things in your life.
Mm.
You know, everyone you get so overwhelmed about tomorrow or yesterday, but like in the moment, like taking care of yourself, like little things, like make sure your chores are done, make sure you're getting done what you need to get done. If you got to be at work at a certain time, like make sure you're there and like do little things that in the moment you don't notice, but at the end of the week you're like, I did that. And sit down and ask yourself, why am I not unhappy? Is it, for instance, you're not setting enough boundaries? Are you personally destroying your life and making you upset, or is outside factors that are coming in that are really taking you for a ride? And it's rough, man. I can't imagine. Like I know the battles that I have with myself, and sometimes you don't know where to turn. A lot
Yeah.
of times you like look for an answer at the empty bottle, but there's no answers there. You look above and you don't know if there's any answers. You look to your left and right, but I think you just gotta look within and believe in yourself, and just know that if not tomorrow, someday it'll get better if you're trying to correct it. And
Yep.
if you need to, talk to someone, sit, have a conversation, and don't be afraid to express yourself. You know, if you keep it all in, then if you can't answer your own questions, and right, if you're only telling yourself,
Yeah. No, definitely, man. Good advice. Definitely. And it's the same deal. If anybody does need to talk, I mean, the advantage of speaking to a guy that's got kids, we forget everything within about an instant.
yeah. And another
Like,
thing
so,
is drop the ego if you have one, or anything. Like
oh,
everyone's
yeah.
got a bit of an ego. I think it's
Yeah.
go out in nature and have some mushrooms and just kick back and chill out,
Mm.
see what happens.
But a certain amount. A certain amount of ego is good, like to get you through where you need to go. But if it goes too high, just check that shit at the door. That's what
Exactly.
you do.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I don't know,
Def-
man. It's kind of
man.
fucked up mental health, and I think
Mm.
over here in Canada, it's like being looked at a lot more. You know, usually it's like, especially as a male, it's just like, hey, buddy, shut the fuck up and get through it. It's like
Yeah.
you're the man. Keep it down.
Mm.
We got other people over here suffering.
Yeah, and it's like no, everybody suffers. That's the whole point. Like everybody has mental health, and the more you don't acknowledge it, and the more you don't raise awareness about it, the worse that it gets for everybody. And it's one of the reasons why I do this is to help people and raise that little spotlight on
Yeah.
it, and be like, if I can get through this, get through a day after a day, beat after beat, everybody else can. And know that there's always somewhere
Exactly.
they can go 30, 40 minutes just to brighten up their day.
Yeah, and if you're a man out there suffering, you know, talk to the other friends too. You know,
Yep.
I think a lot of time, man, like I said, we got to keep it to ourselves. I think he needs a good support. I have a lot of good friends of mine that are really close. So I can actually sit and we talk about life and like, hey, man, I'm feeling this way. I'm not sure. And like, trade stories and everything. And that's super important.
Yep.
Very important. And
Yep. Oh,
physical health. keep it in shape, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes a day. Just get the body going, those endorphins going, and you'd be surprised how much more that do for you as a person. And you're only here once, man. So
Yep.
what you gonna do with it?
Definitely, man. And just make sure you do something that just makes you happy. Do something,
Exactly.
no matter what it is, even if it's just like, having like a 10, 15-minute nap and waking up going, I needed that. That was good. I'm cool with that.
Sleep's a good thing too. I guess a lot of times
Definitely.
if you're depressed, you just want to fucking sleep all day. You're like, should
Mm.
I go outside and have a blast? Nope. I'm just gonna turn to the left and stare at my couch.
Yeah. Well, having good sleep and regular routine with it is definitely something that's been proven. You need to make sure you get like your time. Some people need 8 hours, some people need more, some people need less. It's just finding what it is, and that was one of the things that I had to figure out the hard way. I was like, well, sometimes I need more hours, some days I don't. Just depends where you are. But Johnny, man, you have been an absolute blast, man. Essentially,
Thanks, man.
you're like Canadian Jesus.
Oh,
It's so it's no, in a good way, man. You're so chill and so wise and so cool, man. Got a lot of respect for you, man.
Thank you. I'm gonna take my guitar and part the Atlantic and fucking walk right over to Scotland.
That's the plan.
Right?
See, that's the plan. And if not, like the guy does the illustrations for the comics and that, get him to draw you doing that. That should be one of your album covers, like proper like Creed 90s style.
Water the guitar.
Yeah, just walking along like that, and just like I could just see the album. Jonny Starkes, Canadian Jesus. I could so see that.
Christian.
Oh, you've got it, my friend. There we go. I take the shit, shoot the star, but there we go. We did it. Johnny, man, absolute pleasure having you on. Nothing but success for you, man. Obviously, I'll be keeping in touch with one day anyway to see how you're doing. But feel free to reach out, keep me posted on how you're getting on.
Yeah, man, I think it was beautiful. Anytime you want to have another chat and get a little deeper into talking and everything, I love to talk. So, a little newfie in me. The gift of gab.
Yep. Well, as we say in Scotland, I'm a gab shite.
Gab shite.
So until next time, my faithful followers, I've been Andrew Durnan. This has been the brilliant Jonny Starkes. Check out his music. Check out everything that he's doing. Let's bring this Canadian Jesus over to Scotland because we need him.
Bring me.
That should be a hashtag Canadian Jesus. Let's do it. So until
I'd love to come over there and break some bread.
Definitely. And until next time, my faithful followers, take care. Stay safe.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the amazing Jonny Starkes with his fantastic song, Insane Love. Jonny, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. This little song of mine called Insane Love. With the stroke of a touch and a rush, so that I'll need. 'Cause I know I ain't the best man at the time. I know I can be. 'Cause I try and I try. If you don't mind, just look me in the eyes. You run and I hide. You try, I hide, so I run. With the words you never say, your heart it hurts, the weight of your eyes, scream out for me. So I'll anticipate it on, hold your hand, I hate this. Come on, let's taste this, it's free. Taste all this insane love. I know I won't give up. Baby, it's my time, your time. Let's do it right. So ask yourself, darling, this isn't what you want. You can leave. between the sunsets and the heartaches don't reach out for me. With the words you never say, your heart it hurts, where do your eyes and scream out for me. So I'll anticipate it on, hold your hand, I hate this, come on, it's tasteless, it's free. Taste all this insane love. I know I won't give up. Baby, it's my time, your time. Let's do it right. If you had one last thing to say to her, what would you say? If she had one last thing to say to you, what would she say? I said all my life I'm waiting for someone like you. She said all her life she's waiting for someone like me. With the words you never say, your heart it hurts, where do your eyes to scream out for me. So I'll anticipate it on, hold your hand, I hate this, come on, it's tasteless, it's free. Taste all this insane love. I know I won't give up. Baby, it's my time, your time. Let's do it right. So let's